Welcome to Mind and Movement, getting smart about how you move. I'm Hazel. Thank you so much for joining me for Coffee and Move number 28. It's Sunday here. Tomorrow here in New Zealand we discover if we will spend more time in lockdown or not, and I'm hoping for whatever is safest for all of us. So I've just got back from a big walk, which was really nice, and I am in VSIT, which is a position I spend a lot of time in. Why? Because my tissue on the inside of my legs, my adductors, and my hamstrings is not long enough for the length of my bones, basically. Why? Because I grew up in a culture where I was encouraged to sit in chairs a lot, and I've got really long bones. So I'm 6'2". My femur bones are really long. When I sit at a table, quite often that means that my knees are hitting the top of the table. So I pull my feet back towards me, like this. Imagine I was sitting in a chair. I pull my feet back towards me, which means I am getting a great stretch through my calves all the time. But it means that my hamstrings are getting shortened in an even shorter way than people who are just sitting in a chair with their knees say at a 90-degree angle. So I am trying to create or stimulate the process of Sarcomerogenesis, which is the genesis, the creation of sarcomeres, and sarcomeres are just lengths of muscle units, basically. Units of myosin and actin and titin and all the wonderful things that make up the elasticity and the sliding parts of our muscles. So I am trying to create more sarcomeres. So in order for me to create more sarcomeres, I have to have my legs in a position for long enough for them to go, oh, I need to be able to be in this position easily for a long period of time because she's spending a long period of time in this position. So I need to plop in another sarcomere there so the muscle actually gets longer. When I use the word stretch, I am going to try and create Sarcomerogenesis. So that means you've got to spend a lot of time in a position. So if you sit all day at your desk, you are in Sarcomerolysis, which is the eating up of sarcomeres, let's say in your hamstrings, because they're in a shortened position. So let's say I spend all day, 8 hours a day, in my hamstrings are getting shorter length, and then I spend 20 minutes in trying to make my hamstrings longer. Over the course of my whole day, I still haven't accumulated enough time with my hamstrings in a lengthened position for me to actually change the length of my hamstring muscles. So I don't sit down, I stand at my standing workstation when I'm working, and I move and I'm dynamically engaging. I don't sit down for large periods of time. So now I'm not sitting down, plus I'm spending 10, 20, 30 minutes in positions that are encouraging the length of my hamstrings. I actually took some photos last year throughout the year of me progressively getting better at the hip hinge and the range I got on my hamstrings. I should find those. I know where they are actually. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm not stretching my muscles to try and make them more elastic or anything like that. I am trying to, especially for my hamstrings, put them in a position where they are going to create Sarcomerogenesis, more length in my muscle. And to do that, you have to spend large chunks of time in that position. So that's why those large chunks of time that I spend in hamstring lengthening positions, I'm just talking to you, but normally I would have my computer here on a little stool that I have, and so I'm working in a position where I am basically stretching, which is gold. My hamstrings benefit, plus I'm getting some work done instead of my hamstrings are getting shorter and I'm getting some work done. So Sarcomerogenesis, the making of new sarcomeres, of new muscle units, is what I am trying to create here for my hamstrings. So if you have a position that's uncomfortable, well, not uncomfortable, that you know you need to get better at, and the reason that you suck at that position is because you just don't spend any time in it. The way you're going to get better at it is by accumulating time and being wise about how you accumulate that time. Like for me, I remember the first few times I sat in this position, I could sit in this position literally for 20 or so minutes before the back of my knees just felt so tight, and because I was relatively bound up behind the knee, because as a sports person growing up, I'd been told quite a lot to have a micro bend in my knee so that I could always be ready to explode into action, and that had meant over time that I never really fully extended my knee, and so that has changed dramatically over the last couple of years. And I don't have any pain in my body. I used to have a lot of pain in my body, and the way I got out of it was not by focusing on eliminating those areas of pain, but by just focusing on getting my body into better alignment and working on the specific tissues that I needed to work on in terms of strength, in terms of mobility and flexibility. But remember, the body doesn't think in terms of mobility, strength, flexibility. The body's just thinks in terms of movement. I'm either moving a lot through a huge variety of positions, or I'm not moving at all. And the body loves moving. The body hates repetitive movements over and over again. And yeah, body loves experiencing new positions and new loads to different tissues in dynamic ways, safely, and transitioning your tissue into more and more loads over time. Anyway, so we've just accumulated quite a lot of time in a V-sit. Whatever you did, you might have been in a deep squat, you might have been in a plank. Hope you weren't in a plank actually. Whatever position you were in, good on you. And the deep squat is again a really nice, relaxing position. And one of the reasons why I can do the deep squat really well is that the way I've sat at a desk pulling my feet right back is actually a calf stretch. So I've accumulated a lot of time in sitting calf stretching, which is why I can do the deep squat, which is one of the reasons why I haven't lost my deep squat. Anyway, I'm ranting. Spend some time in a deep squat, or spend some time in a V-sit. Bolster yourself up so you're in a position that's comfortable for you. Bolster yourself under your knees if you need to. Just take some time, enjoy it, do some breathing, and yeah, enjoy. I will see you